going to do all these things. It wasn't going to cost any, we'll just raise taxes on billionaires, which I don't even think should exist.
Yeah. He also promised to be the president's worst nightmare back in August, and yet a few months later, he's basically going down there to grovel. So I'm assuming he had some advisors saying, look, you have more to lose than you do to gain by fighting with the president or picking a fight right out of the gate. That being said, what's interesting between Mamdani and Trump is they both ended up running on a message of affordability. Obviously, they have different means to get to those ends, but I do think because they both care about affordability to some degree, Mamdani should go in there with open ears and a shut mouth, right? He should let President Trump explain how federal funding actually works, how you actually govern, and don't go in there with any kind of posturing. Don't go in there with these ridiculous demands that are detached from reality, because that's going to get him nowhere. But if he goes in with open ears, he might be able to kind of smooth things over a little bit.
Because Mamdani can go in and say, New York is a socialist economy, period, now. Mm-hmm. 2/3 of the budget is like social services, the schools, and then pensions and fringe benefits. That's an actual budget item. And then it runs and owns the hospital system, part of the hospital system. So he could just go in and say, it's already socialist. What's everybody upset about?
This is the irony of the whole phenomenon, right? New York has an affordability problem because it already has socialistic policies, and he wants to double down on those policies. But look, I think Mamdani needs a good meeting more than Trump does. I think he should be worrying about this meeting and think about it very carefully how he's going to approach it. I think it's fairly easy to have a relatively pleasant meeting with Donald Trump. He should come with some sort of gesture. We found this old photo in the archives of your father's first apartment building in Queens. Will you sign it for me? Or we framed it for you. Or we want to deliver
before we burn
Brooklyn.
it down and give it to
some exactly. Person, right? Yeah. Before the rent's free in this apartment.
Yeah, exactly.
And then banter about something you both have in common, sports or whatever. Say we both love the city, and then try to get out. And I would absolutely demand no press availability, because the chances of him getting steamrolled in a public meeting.
Can I be a cynic for just a second? Yeah. I really do think, though, the reason why Mamdani had this meeting and wanted it and called for it publicly and not privately is because I actually think he wants this meeting to be a war, because he wants to use it for whatever is next on his agenda. I think he's already looking past being the mayor of New York City. I actually think this is a flashpoint they're wanting. I don't think this is to learn. I think he's probably wanting to go in there and say, I stood up to Donald Trump, and then he can use it on his stump speech for whatever he wants to do next.
I think one of the biggest flashpoints is going to be about security, about illegal immigration, Brianna, and also about ICE, because, there's absolutely no way that they see eye to eye on this issue.
Yeah, it's night and day between the two of them, right? Yeah. President Trump ran this past election cycle on mass deportations. Now, the first term, it was build the wall. And Mamdani here is saying, I'm not going to cooperate with federal authorities to deport illegal aliens. He's also made it clear that illegal aliens are out there helping him campaign, apparently. So that's where he gets his base from. So these two men are extremely different. They're not going to find common ground in there, but I do think this is an opportunity for Trump to remind him, I control the federal funding on this one.
Yeah. Speaking of which, Mamdani still has no idea how he plans to pay for the agenda.
No.
Listen to this.